Hello, everybody, and welcome to this not live version of Isles of Iverion. Welcome to Roll with Advantage. My name is Joe, and I'm going to be your dungeon master this evening for the Isles of Iverion session 29.5. Session 30 is a special number. We got to do that one live. You know how it is. So yeah, we got a little short session today, just since we were not going to be playing the following Saturday, this next Saturday coming up, because we got the charity stream. So tune into that charity stream, as this will be posted on Thursday on YouTube. If you're watching it, and come out and help support children's hospitals, because it's a good thing, and you're not a monster, so you should donate money.
Well,
Is that a threat? I don't know. I'm going to roll the intro still because that's fun to me, and we'll be back. And we're back. Okay, so for this session, we're just going to go ahead and pick up right about where we left off at the end of last session. So just last night, we finished our session 29. And during session 29, the party discovered a lot of information, not only about the Dowie, but also about Twig, and sadly about Grok as well. Well, they're gonna find out about Grok here in a little bit. In terms of what they found out about the Dowie, they discovered that the Dowie actually were dwarves who were in service to and indebted to, and these ultra loyal servants to Christ Kraktuk, or as it is in the common tongue, the Dark One, an entity that seems to infiltrate themselves into many different mythologies and folklore all around the world. Going by hundreds of different names, but always sort of reoccurring as this entity pulling thousands of strings in order to get what they want. So they learn of the Dowie's influence there, the fact that the Dowie were punished. They were supposed to create an army for the Dark One to help his ascension, his rise, his consumption of existence, and they failed. They failed in their job due to one gnomish druid, known as the Breaker of Chains. She had destroyed the stone pillars supporting and hiding these armies within the mountain, destroying those pillars and trapping them beneath and destroying them. The Dark One, frustrated, angry, and not known to shrink away from punishment, punished the Dowie. At least these ones inside the mountain ranges of Issa Nalor were punished in a rather grotesque way. Embedded into the stone, frozen in place, but given eternal life, but not free of pain. Constantly forced to feel trapped in stone, to have their minds slowly degrade over thousands of years. And luckily for the party, they were able to find these Dowie and ask them questions. They gathered some information, mostly related to what I already said, and discovered that the Dowie were actually keeping the breed mother here, being one of the artifacts of the Dowie, something used to destroy, and according to the Dowie, something they wished to learn how to use in order to manipulate their undead. Sadly, it never happened, and the breed mother was killed by the party. Now, the party also found a large brazier inside the mountain. And after performing the same ritual that Quilp saw in a vision, relighting the flame, Quilp was talked to by not just any entity of flame, but Kossuth, the embodiment of flame, the primordial god, practically, spoke to Quilp and told him that he must follow in the footsteps of this Breaker of Chains and find her, as she is still alive. So, Quilp now having a mission, knowing that he must fight against the dark to relight the flame and to find this breaker of chains and discover what he has to become in order to keep his new friends safe and to preserve the light. Thing 1. The other thing that was discovered was so much information about House Forrester and their existence. Now, it was found of their different bannermen and their stewards, House Redding, House Bywater, and House Harwood. 2 of those houses completely destroyed and wiped off the face of Iverion, having these tragic downfalls by dwarves and by Duradine Dupree. House Harwood, however, does seem to have some surviving members, 2 that Twig now knows of. One being Elias Harwood, existing within Highland Pass, the same city that the party is in right now, and the other being Isabella Harwood, living in Vitronet, a Tarkarian city in the Highlands. So that is what we have here. So our session ended yesterday in a rather tragic sense, where Amryn, a bard that the party had met all the way back in Sand Point, who was telling stories of a great black dragon raiding and destroying the lands of the demonic waste. And, oh, sorry, I meant to say Travasay. That was my bad. My B. Isabella Harwood being in Travasy. That is the truth. And Amryn having shown up before to Grok and Raven Rock as well, making him do some things indebted, doing things indebted to the Dutchman, Grok's divine patron. So Amryn comes to him and tells Grok that Grok's crew has resurfaced, the same people that betrayed him all those many, many moons ago, and that Grok now can get his revenge. And on top of that, it is helping him serve the Dutchman. So Grok does just that. He goes to the one who was in Highland Pass and tortures her rather brutally, gets answers, and then tears her jaw off. Woo! And heads back to the inn. Amryn says that it's time for him to go, and Grok has a brief conversation with Nalfian, getting back maybe around 10:30 at night, shortly after the conversation Din had with Eurydice, and Eurydice had with Bianca Dusong from the Salamander Ghost campaign. Brief conversation happening there. And now that is where we are going to pick up. So, our group of adventurers sitting inside their tavern. Nalfian, so whoever would be awake, Den and Eurydice would be for one as well. Quilp, would you still be up around 10:30 at night?
You might be snoozing at the table by this point.
Okay, all right. So Twig has gone up to bed, that's for sure. But Den, and I'm assuming Eurydice, you're still awake, right? Okay. So you can see Nalfian as you return to the table, having just seen Grok walk away, having just winked at him, as you did, as he was leaving. You sit down at the table, and Eurydice, you can tell that Nalfian, regardless of what he's showing on his face, there's something else going on there. And Nalfian, as you do sit down, you can see that Quilp is currently asleep in the chair across from Din. So you're currently sitting across from Eurydice. Din is sitting to your left. Quilp sort of snoozing in his chair to your right.
Yeah, when he came in, he just doing mental math in his head and trying to spin how he's gonna say all this. So when he takes a seat, he's just gonna very carefully place the gauntlet and the knife on the table. And just kind of like run a hand through his hair. Just take a deep breath.
Okay.
Okay. She's gonna look at the artifacts. Kind of raise her eyebrows. Why do you have those?
So he just kind of like looks, clapping his hands together, looking at Din and Eurydice. Grok is going to be going away for a few weeks. He's fine. He's safe. He's not going alone. If you remember Amryn from a while back, he's going to be traveling with him for a short time. So he wants us to hold on to these while he's gone.
How long is a short time?
I don't know. This isn't the first time that Amryn has kind of come in and swept him away. Last time it was only a couple hours. The fact that he gave me these things says it's going to be probably a little long.
Did he tell you why?
If I'm being completely transparent, no. I haven't known since the first time he did this. I know it's important to him. And he said that this may not be... He may not get another chance if he doesn't go after it now. So I wasn't gonna deny him of that. I don't know how to phrase this to Twig, so I'm letting you all know so we can maybe confront it together. Because fuck if I know when he's coming back. He will be back. But I didn't like the look he had in his eye, so I'm not sure. And that's the truth.
Okay. The main thing now is just figuring out how we're gonna say this to Twig without scaring her or upsetting her, because honestly, I know Grok is involved in some things that seem a little odd, and he hasn't told me about them either. Don't totally believe wherever he is, whatever he's doing is totally safe, but maybe we shouldn't say that to her.
I agree completely. She doesn't need to know any of that.
No.
But I also don't feel comfortable continuing to lie to her either. So maybe we just phrase it as though what I just did, he's going off to help Amryn. And it's the kind of help that only Grok can provide.
Yeah. Probably the better way to do it. And I mean, if he didn't tell us anything, then not exactly lying to her, we just have to encourage her to respect his privacy in that matter, and that he will be back.
And he will. Fucking better be, but yeah.
Yeah.
Din, you should probably hold on to these things. And Alfine's gonna like slide them towards Din.
Yeah, sure. I'll kind of pick up the two items. Tuck the gauntlet under his arm and set the knife in his bag.
Just don't put that thing on.
No, I'm not going to put it on.
Either way, we have to make do without him for now.
Yeah. Yep.
Well. Are we gonna wake her up, or are we gonna wait?
No. Let her sleep. We'll address it in the morning.
Okay.
We'll be fine. We will be fine. Everyone sitting here is quite capable of taking care of themselves.
Hmm.
Dinner, you alright?
Yeah, I'm fine. Listen, I'm gonna get some sleep. Night. And he's gonna kind of push himself up and away and head towards the room.
I actually need to talk to you about something.
What is it?
So, I'm gonna have a more group conversation about this probably tomorrow after we talked about the Grok thing, because it affects all of us, but I wanted to pre-warn you rather than you just find this out, in front of everyone.
He's like
So-
looking at you very confused now.
It's nothing bad. So... Oh, I need to get the backstory on this too. Right. Me, devil, all that, we know about that. He asked me to kill someone. A woman called Bianca. Because he served a different devil that wanted to get rid of mine, wanted to take his place, pretty much. That wasn't acceptable, so he said I'd have to go and kill her one day. But recently he came to me and said that that is no longer the case, because her and her friends are trying to fight this one of darkness. This one of darkness is going to try and push my patron off his place, so he wants us to be friends, wants us to be allies with her.
This is the same darkness that we talked about yesterday.
Yes, the same one.
All right. I think I'm following.
You might not be in a second. Talked to her last night.
Alright.
Through Din. I sent her a message talking about just that I didn't want to hurt her, whatever information she had. And she said a couple things, stuff to do with the fact that we don't have time anymore. These seals aren't going to be broken. They're breaking. They've met one of the 13 already. It's happening.
Comforting.
Yeah, definitely. She also said that they're going back in time to stop something that was gonna start like an apocalypse or something. And then she told me they met you from the future.
Are you sure you got your wires crossed there?
I thought you might say that. But I know it's true because she also told me to say this. Sleep well, little bird, you are love. She says it again in Drow. She told me to tell you that. There's no way she could have known that unless she's met.
I'm sorry.
Version of you.
How do you know that?
She told me. She said it. I don't know how. She said that he told
This Bianca person knows what I.
Yes, she said that future you told me to tell you that so that you'd believe her.
You can see just this look of absolute confusion. He wants to be angry because he thinks that you've been listening to his conversations with Twig, but he is confused.
I've not. She told me to say that, okay? I don't know what that means. I don't speak Drow. How would I know what that means?
All right. So let's back up. Assuming all this is true, assuming that this isn't some kind of a fucking trick on you, what am I supposed to do with that? So someone's been spying on me, on listening in on what I say. What is future me? What does that have to do with me now? Just a cheery hello from the future?
See, she falters a bit. Like, she's... she doesn't know how to answer that one. She's like, well... He didn't really explain much more. because the issue is with sending you only get 25 words. So we said that we'd try to find ways to have longer conversations so that we could talk more about everything that's happening. No, she told me to tell you that, and then she said the thing about you from the future and moving around through time.
He just kind of shifts in his seat a little bit, remembering what was it, like Miyazo, right?
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
And
just
also,
remembering.
Shadow now taught you how to manipulate time.
Yeah. He shifts a little bit, growing a little bit more uncomfortable. All right. I don't not believe you. Okay. I just don't know what any of that's supposed to mean. And I don't like not knowing.
That's fair enough. I don't know what it means either. I guess the biggest comfort is that they want to help us. Her and whoever she's with, and my patron already said he'd said that we're going to be allies in the future against this thing. So it's just comforting to know they want to help us, that we're all kind of on the same page with it, and we might get more information from them about what's going on.
Right. And you can contact this Bianca person again, right?
Yes, it's just limited, and I need Din for it. I'm just trying to find a way to do it better, because 25 words leads to a lot of...
Yeah, that's not shit.
No, it doesn't help. It really doesn't.
All right. Let me see what I can find out about whatever future me wants to say. See if I can get some answers there. I'm not upset with you, Eurydice. I just... What you just said is something very... It doesn't make me feel good knowing that other people are listening.
Yeah, I know.
But I don't
enough
think I would have
understanding.
believed you otherwise, so I guess it's a good thing, huh?
Yeah, I think that's why she said it.
He just kind of like runs his hand through his hair again. All right. Are you okay? How are you doing?
I've been better, I think. Just a lot.
Well, I need you to do something for me though.
Okay.
With Grok gone, I need you to be... I need you to be strong for Twig. I know this is a lot of shit, and you've just added to the pile. But someone has to be.
I can always try to be. I try to be at least in front of Twig. She needs constants, and I felt like I messed it up a little bit yesterday. I said about the devil thing. I'd been trying not to mention that, and it just kind of...
It was gonna come out eventually, Eurydice.
Don't want her to think of me differently. Like I'm not good.
I can promise you she won't. I had the same fear, but she's a good kid. she'll understand. But it is late. I'm fucking confused. My head hurts, and apparently there's a future me that is talking to other people. I don't know what the fuck that means, so I think it's time to go to bed.
Yeah.
Now he'll just kind of like offer his hand to like help her lead her upstairs. And
She'll
I'm
take it.
not gonna let Quilp just sleep at the table, so Nalful like very gingerly, like with a sigh of slight annoyance, he's gonna do it anyway. He's just gonna like lift Quilp up like fireman carry over his other shoulder and drop Yuri off, and then I guess give Quilp his own little room. Oh, actually, no, Quilp can hang out with me now, because Croc's gone. Yeah, real roommate.
3 beds to a room. Quilp you and
Dude,
Den. Yep.
All right, cool. They'll do that. It'll probably be like way oversized, but it'll be great for Quilp.
Extra comfy bed.
Yeah.
Yuri's gonna go to her room and feel very, very uncomfy that he asked her to be the strong one.
Sorry.
Okay. Alrighty. So you all head off to sleep. And, well, this is actually... I need to move the date here real quick because it's the... Well, now it's the 22nd of Hearthfire. Or 22nd of Winter Court. Whew. We are getting close there, ladies and gents. Alrighty. So, with that, night comes. No nightmares are had, or visions, or dreams of any renown or worth note. Now, if you have a weird dream about a sandwich person, but that's about it. Whatever that means, I don't know. That's up to you to decide. So, with that, everybody wakes up and begins to make their way down to the common room, eating breakfast. And Twig, as you are heading down, you can see that Grok is typically a late riser, but as you're sort of sitting down at the table where everybody else is at, there's a little bit of a hush over the table, and there's no sign of Grok.
Has Grok already gone out for the day?
Well, like he's not here right now.
Oh, where'd he go?
Well, Rock had some things that he had to take care of with a friend that needed his help. He is safe, he is fine, you don't have to worry about him, but he had to go for a little bit. Maybe a few weeks or a few months, we're not sure, but... Sorry.
I feel like there's a lot of difference between a couple of weeks and a couple of months.
Well, you remember his friend Amryn, right? He
Yeah.
really needed Grok's help. And, I mean, we all know Grok knows his way around the ocean. They might be sailing for a little bit, which can take sometimes up to a few weeks to a couple months. He will be back. He just wanted to handle this business now while everything seemed to be, or so we thought, just in a little bit more calmer waters for us.
Well, I mean, do we at least know where he's going?
No.
Oh.
But he will be back. He reassured me many times that he will be back. So there's nothing to worry about. He just didn't want to worry you all.
This looks a little deflated and kind of just looking down at the table, but she just has that silent acceptance of it.
Yeah, now Althea's gonna like look over to whoever is I guess it's not Yuri today working and just like try to signal for some food because food makes everyone feel better, right?
Yep. And as you signal for the food, um, Vala comes over, the halfling innkeep, and she's just throwing some fried eggs, bacon, flapjacks, some biscuits and gravy. She's throwing it all down. She can tell that you guys are a little sad, and it's all on the house. And she's gonna give Eurydice the rest of the day off. There you go.
As we're eating as well. When we get towards the end of it, so at least people get to like eat through most of their food. We're just gonna go. There's also something else we need to talk about as a group. That's pretty important. She's gonna try and like just for a second give Nalf a reassuring look. Like it's gonna come up, but I'm not gonna say everything. So just calm. She's gonna say. So my patron told me about a woman who we're meant to be allied with potentially against this threat, this darkness that we heard about in the Dowie ruins. Me and Din thought it would be best to talk to her and just get a feel for what they know and the whole sort of situation. And she told me some pretty interesting things. Her name is Bianca, by the way, and she told me that we actually don't have a lot of time when it comes to this darkness. I know that the Dowie said that he would definitely come back, and about these seals on the 13, the seals aren't going to break. Some of them are broken. At least they've seen at least one, her and her friends. And so some time travel things. Stuff to do with them going backwards in time to stop certain events from happening. And meeting people from forwards in time and all that kind of stuff. But the main takeaway is that we have allies against it, but that we are running kind of out of time. The seals are breaking already.
That's very confusing. So, does she live local then? Could we go and have a chat with her ourselves, this Bianca?
That's kind of the problem. He lives in the Salamander Coast. So the only way that me and Din talked to her was through his sending abilities. Two of us, me and Bianca, have decided that we're going to try and find longer ways to communicate, full conversations rather than just 25 words. So when we figure that out, we might be able to learn a bit more specific stuff.
That sounds very wise. I don't understand how people could not be where they are when they are.
Well, Quilp, I actually wanted to ask. You seem to be very one with foresight. Do you know anything about traveling through time? Nothing doesn't believe he's saying the words as they exit his mouth.
I don't believe so. Nothing's prepared me for traveling through time. I thought being able to travel out of one's physical self and be somewhere separate from that was enough, but how does it even work? Are you still there in the past if you go back in the past as well as the new one? And there's just so many problems.
Yeah, that's what we're running
Massive
into.
frown on his face, just like as he's completely confused. But,
We'll ask
so
her.
your friend, Bianca, she'd gone back in time to try and stop things happening now.
But I think she's going. She said that she's going to go back. I don't know. I don't think she's back. How? She's going to go back.
But if things, if you you go back and things won't ever be, it's just terribly confusing.
Yeah. Now that I think about it, we're kind of in the. They go back and change things that affect us now. Then what
It's
happens?
like a kind of loop, isn't it? And
Yeah.
I'm gonna have to have a good old think about this. But
I think
you said it's a 13th seal that someone, because that's what we were told about, wasn't it, by the Dowie,
Yeah.
the 13 seals. So what's happened with that? Did she say?
They're breaking, and they've met at least one. They've met at least
They've
one
m-
of these 13. That's
They've
then totally broken out.
they've met a seal. So
They've
a
they've
seal.
met someone who's broken out of the. Guess the seal's meant to keep them contained, and then
Oh,
yeah.
so like each of the seals has got someone hidden, like trapped inside.
I really don't know the specifics. If I'm totally honest.
Okay. Well, that's good to know. And he'll kind of reach across and pat your hand, Eurydice. It's okay. I don't expect you to know. It's just there's so many questions, aren't there? And
Yeah.
I think I might even have more than some of you because you kind of know some bits, and I'm kind of coming to this past the point that you're at, maybe. But so 13, and they've
funny
met one.
enough, Quill, this is new to all of us, so we all probably
well
have
then.
the same amount of questions.
That's all right then. I don't want to be asking questions that you just think, oh no, we know that already. If you don't mind.
There's no stupid questions. I really don't think I have many answers for you.
Well, maybe we need to talk again with this Bianca, as you say, and you're going to work on trying to find out. And I can certainly, I can try and talk to. And he kind of always like looks embarrassed. I can try and talk to Kosov and see whether he might tell me something as well. I mean, you wouldn't have thought that, would you? That's just
You
crazy.
seem to have some pretty big connections now.
Oh, he did. He talked to me, didn't he? And oh my god, it was pretty amazing. That was.
Yeah, that was a lot. We kind of forgot. We talked to Kosov.
I know. And I didn't even know if there was really such a thing, really. And then there it was. And yeah, it is such a thing, isn't it? And what a thing, and what a job. We better do it.
Yeah. Yeah, it seems pretty important.
Well, we have Quilp on our side, who's going to, he's got a little insight to going up against the Dark One. We know about these 13 seals, I guess. It's better that we're aware than we're not, so I guess we're ahead.
Hmm.
I'm gonna do some digging and see what I can find. At least about
Well,
this future shit.
the future thing would be good to know about, but also now for Liam, whether your people would know any more about the Breaker of the Chains. Sonyana, Kosov did say I should try and find her.
I don't think my people would be any help with that, Quill. If anything, it's more of an annoyance than that would be kept a record of. No offense.
No, you know best, of course. No. Well, the only other thing that I was told by Kosov was to relight the flames and follow the flames, and I think I better do a bit of thinking about that.
I could maybe try and help you see if there are any other records of braziers anywhere in Iverion or Tarkir. Maybe there's a
Might be a
pattern.
good
Ooh.
start.
That sounds like a very sensible plan. I'd sort of just maybe lighten a little fire and thinking by it, but that sounds very sensible.
Well, I
Maybe
mean,
we'll do both.
Quilp, in all honesty, I think you might know better than me.
Oh, no,
But-
no, I don't think so. I'd be very, very grateful for your help.
Well, you'll have it.
You-
Like, how are you doing? This been very quiet.
Well, it doesn't make a lot of sense, a lot of it. I mean, I know that, well, Nelfian's shadow thing is from a different time already, so I guess traveling through them would be a possibility, but I don't see how it's going to be solving anything. I mean, surely trying to mess with things like that is only going to create more problems.
Right. Well, don't you worry about that. That is a non-point here. We only just need information, so we'll look around in places that aren't going to stir up anything. But I think we know what we need to do first, and that's just, I guess you're to see if you can find a way to have a better communication with this Bianca. Be the best place to start. Any other business we need to handle in Highland Pass? Twig, I know there's a few things you need to do. One step at a time. Because I don't know about any of you, he just like gestures to his head like it's just it's just gone.
I
So-
would like to meet with Elias soon. I
Good.
feel like it's certainly a good thing to do before leaving.
Absolutely.
And, well, I don't know if people are concerning themselves with research and all that. I can go alone, but I wouldn't mind company.
I will be going with you, Twig, don't worry.
Well, I think that if this is just one old man, I don't know if showing up with a big group of people is a good idea. Plus, I'm gonna try and help Quilp find his these flames or anything. Help him in whatever way I can. If you'd like me to come, Twig, I'd be more than happy to. But I just don't want to frighten the old man.
It might be
No,
better
like
to
I
not.
said, if you need to research, then, well, I guess as you said, it's probably not good to go as too big a group, so it's probably better to do that.
Plus, I mean, look at that. And Din kind of laughs, looking towards Nalfian. I mean, from what the research said, Knight of the Black Rose, and he kind of looks towards your pommel of your sword, Nalfian.
I think of that.
Now if it's just gonna pat Din very aggressively on the back. He's smiling, but he's just
Hey,
like very
hey.
aggressively.
Whoa!
Best get on that research, bud.
All right, all
I mean,
right.
it is
You know,
a nice sword.
if I have bruises later,
Oh,
you're
thank
paying
you.
the bill, all right?
Oh, well, I can afford it, so
Don't even get me started on your addiction. I'm not gonna do it. I'm not gonna go there,
Twig, how
Nalfian.
about we,
We've
go
had
get
this
ready?
conversation before,
Din,
Nalfian, and I
Din.
just want you to know that I'm always here if you need to talk, okay?
He's like shooting you daggers right now. Like, shut the fuck up.
All right, all right. Geez, you're gonna cut somebody with that if you're not careful.
Behave yourselves, both of you. Mind
All
faces.
get fun.
Inside
All right.
voices.
All right, Mom. Okay. All right. Quilp, you ready?
Yeah, I think so. Good luck, Twig. Oh, with whatever it is, and I'm sure it'll work out fine. And now if you want to look after you, and just give her a little pat on the hand.
Well, good luck with your research.
Thank you. Let's see what we can find out, eh? Yes, let's go, Din. Let's see what we can
Quilt,
find out.
if he gets too out of hand, just give him a good smack on the ass and it'll just put him right back into shape.
Who's that? Oh, Din.
Nalfian,
All
do we
right.
need to... What's going on here today? Do you have something you need to
listen,
tell me?
Hey, man.
I'm a little lost as well, so.
Have a great time.
All right. Okay. Well, let's get out of here. Getting some weird vibes
Love
from
y'all.
Nalfian today.
He's just sat at the table, gets up, goes over to the person who runs the tavern. Is like, can I just work anyway, please?
Just wants to work
they do
today.
seem a bit off the rocker today. Yeah, put your apron on. You can go. Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Once Yuri leaves, though, and it's just Nauf and Twig at the table, Twig's just gonna... She hasn't stopped looking at Nauf since, like, Din was talking about addiction shit.
Thanks, Din.
Why was Din saying you're addicted to something?
Well, Din just likes to poke fun, sometimes a little too much. I'm not addicted to anything. It's just a couple days of a lot of fun dice games that I just so happen to win.
You weren't using those dice that you got from Machamp, were you?
Sometimes I was, but other times I was not. I can be pretty lucky on my own, I'll have you know.
Make a deception check, Nalfian.
Okay, well, excuse me, first of all, he
What
was
do you-
pretty good on his own, because I rolled that double 5 the other
You've rolled
yesterday.
that once at the end of the 3 months. The reason you have 8,000 extra gold right now is because you never used it. 18. Make an insight check,
Alright.
Twig.
Oh, shit.
Okay.
Okay. That's 11.
Yeah.
You believe him.
Yeah, I mean, he's not lying. He's just being half-truth.
Which I think is called lying, but that's okay.
Nalfi's just gonna, like, give her a little squeeze on the shoulder, and he's just smiling. He's like, sometimes I can just be really lucky.
I just don't think it's a good idea to use those dice, though. And, well, if you're lucky without it, then I guess you wouldn't need it, right?
You are right. How about this? I'll make you a deal. I will not use those dice again while we're here. I'll, like, offer his
Once
hand to
we
shake.
leave.
Yeah, she was about to shake, but then it's a bit like, hesitation.
Once we leave, I also will not use them again.
Shake them up.
I just don't think it's a good idea to mess with fate like that.
He'll kinda,
Nothing
like-
good would come from it.
Glancing at all her little sticky notes. He'll just shake her hand and he says, "All right. I will refrain." Now, I will say, if we're gonna go see this Elias person, and Alfie's just gonna, like, tilt her hood back a little bit. You wanna look your best, right?
I'm
Who did
It's
this? Did
probably a good
Eurydice
idea.
do this? Like, gesturing at your hair.
I did it.
Well, it looks lovely, but I think I have a few ideas if you'll let me.
Okay, what are you planning?
He just kind of, like, looks for a second and just smiles, and he's like, "Let it be a surprise. Come on, if you
A
look good, you feel
surprise,
good.
I hope.
It'll be a great surprise."
Okay. Well,
And-
I trust you.
He will kind of, like, hesitate at that and then offer his hand, and he'll take you upstairs to fix your hair, girl.
Oh yeah.
It's finally happening.
Yeah. So, Delphin's weirdly really good at braiding hair. So whatever, after like peeling literal twigs out of her hair, I'm sure he will. I saved a picture from last night. I wanted to do this for so long. What her hair shall look.
Yeah, throw that in the Isles chat.
No. Once I figure out where the Isles chat is and turn the music down from blaring in my ear again.
Is it really?
Yeah.
Have you turned it down on the global?
Yeah, because you can adjust volume sliders for currently playing and then global volume.
Hmm. Okay, well, I don't know where private.
Because otherwise, whenever you're adjusting the volume, it's just adjusting it for that one track.
Hey.
Oh, you know what? You're smart. Let me do that.
So you wanna turn down playlists?
That's what the problem was. Yep, you're right. I got it. I thought you were saying that earlier to Joe, and I was like, I'm dumb.
No,
Okay,
Joe
thank
was
you.
just cutting in at the end.
Okay, so yeah, that's what her hair is gonna look like. All these little flowers.
So you charged your phone. That's nice.
Thank you. Yeah, but he's not gonna make a big. I just read the chat. Sorry. Yeah, he's not gonna make a big deal of it. Like this, it's weird how like second nature, literally doing hair comes to him, which is interesting. But he's not gonna make a big deal of it, and he's just gonna fix her hair up real nice.
Okay. Yeah, braiding the hair in the different forms and ways to create these almost small, like rose-like folds in the hair. Twig, sometimes it does hurt a little bit because you got to do. Although Nalfian is very dexterous with his fingers and braiding the hair. You also probably have not had a comb in your hair in a while. I mean, it's not like you don't take care of it, but in order to get all the knots out, it is not a fun time. But by the time Nalfian is done, I'd say probably after combing and doing a little bit of washing and then braiding, probably an hour later.
Whole ass hour.
Yeah, you are. Yeah, it's done, and it looks exactly like the picture.
Hand her like a little hand mirror, and I'll just say, "All right, like I said, you look good, you feel good."
When did you learn how to do hair like this?
A long time ago.
In
But that's
the
why. Say again?
In the Underdark?
Definitely not in the Underdark. But
You've only been on the surface for a couple of years, right?
I've only
I
lived
wouldn't
here for a
exactly
couple
call
of
that-
years, but I've been up a few more times than that.
When? And why would you go back down then?
At this point, he's just kind of like smiling at you with all the questions you're asking.
Oh, I'm sorry.
It's okay. Like I said, talk about it later. But a very good friend of mine taught me how to do this. And that's the reason why I look like this great every single day. And now you will too. Now, we are losing daylight, so let's go talk to your friend, shall we?
Okay. Well, I guess we need to find them first. So it's a chance that we can't, right?
I have a way of finding people, trust me. If we need to find him, we will. And he'll just kind of offer his hand again.
You take it. Kind of like shaking a little.
Mm-hmm.
If she tries to put her hood up, he will every time, like, annoyingly so, plop it back down.
Yeah, she probably would try like 5 or so times and then kind of getting the idea that it's not going to happen.
Yeah, no. Can we ask around? Like, let's stop here first and kind of see who.
Well, no,
knows.
'cause we already know that he. Oh no, where is it? It's like near the south gate or
Oh, that's
something.
right. That's right.
Oh, where are my
Mhm.
notes?
Well, that's where we're
Yeah.
going first then. Southgate.
South Ridge. South of the Ridge? I don't know. Near the southern gate.
South of the range. So Highland Pass
Range?
is
Okay.
Highland Pass is divided in two halves, where there's the northern half and then there's the ridge of the mountain, sort of like at its peak where you're currently at, where you actually end up going underneath the mountain, and then the southern half of the city that borders Tarkir as opposed to Iverion. So easy enough. You are able to make your way out of the inn and into the very thick, dense snow that is currently just piling outside. As you sort of make your way through the different areas and head towards where you believe to know where this Elias is, near the southern gate of the southern half of the city. You ask around for just a little bit, and easy enough, they do point your way into the direction of the man that they believe to be Elias Harwood. So, pointing in the direction of the house, you follow those instructions until eventually you make your way to a almost a ramshackled hut. Practically, it is not nice. It is fairly worn down. Some of the windows are boarded up, and there's a door with what seems to be several different bracing locks that you can just kind of tell from the outside looking in. As you make your way up, there's no way to look inside the windows to check if anyone's there, but it's up to you. What do you want to do?
No.
Just
Go ahead. Sorry.
just gonna take the biggest breath in, and then is there any form of, like, I guess, knocker or bell or anything?
No, it's just a wooden door.
Okay, and she's just gonna knock on the door, and it's probably much quieter than she was intending.
Okay.
Nalfid will knock harder for her.
Okay. You can hear a voice sort of shouting back further into the house, say, slurred, very much slurred. If that is Albert, fuck off. Oh.
No.
Nalfian, I think this might be the wrong house.
Oh, we won't know until we actually see. You have a guest. Hello, is there an Elias that lives here?
And you can just hear grumbling and bumbling, and you hear the sound of something thudding into something wooden, and then the voice go, "I go fuck."
Nalfid will like slide twig behind him and just like standing in front of the door.
Eventually, you can hear the footsteps get closer to the door, and a few clasps and ringing of different metal things, until eventually you see the door slowly begin to creak open and then eventually held in place by a chain, only revealing maybe 4 or 5 inches into the inside of the house. And you can see an older man, thin, wispy white hair, a thin, trimmed beard, but with different matting of what looks to be like food or stew or alcohol, just dotting the different face and splotches in different area. A tattered green, what looks to be robe with a thick burlap cloak sort of over it, and these very, very thick wool gloves over his hands. As you presume that this is Elias Harwood. What the fuck do you want? Oh.
Good afternoon to you as well. Are you Elias, I presume?
I seem to kind of stare at you for a moment. And if I am, what's it to you? Yeah.
He kind of like peeks over his shoulder at Twig. I have a friend who wants to speak with you.
Twig's just in a little bit of shock.
I was hoping I could talk to you about a couple of things. I mean, I think I was meant to find a, well, I know I was meant to find a, I guess a relative of yours, Isabella Howard, and, well, I know that she's not here, that she's in Traverse, but we found your name in, well, tax documents, I think, but I thought it'd be a good idea to at least come here. I'm sorry, I planned out what I was going to say, but now I'm sorry, it's all escaped from me.
You know my daughter?
Well, I don't know her. My mother just said that I should find her and talk to her.
You see him kind of moan and groan to himself and then say, come in. And he unhinges the latch a little bit more and lets the door swing open. And immediately, as soon as it swings open, you can hear it clatter against glass bottles. And some of them fall onto the ground and start to roll away. As he walks by and just stumbles through and once again sort of hits his shin on a wooden table. Ah, fuck, stupid fucking table.
Does he have any, like, the form of water or tea around this shithole?
No.
Oh my god. Okay. Now I was gonna try to sober him up, but that's not working. Alright.
You can see as he makes his way in and he sits into a what seems to be a wooden chair with different padding sort of built into it. He sort of plops down onto it, and there's a couple of wooden benches that are in this room, and a stack of books next to him. And on the other side of him, on another small end table, just more bottles. As he just sort of takes another one off the stand with this deep red liquid and pops off the cork and just takes a swig. And then sort of sets it down back on the table. And says, take a seat and sit for a little. Don't you make yourself at home.
Nalfid will just... Not taking his eyes off this guy, I guess dust a couple of the bottles out of the way for him and Twig to have a seat.
So you come looking for something? Or did you?
Oh, well, I don't know. I suppose a conversation about House Forrester.
House Forrester. I know House Forrester. No, it's served dutifully and fully, and it just didn't. And he takes another swig and then stops talking.
Nelf's gonna stop him from doing that.
Hey, get off me!
Hey, she asked you a question. I think you need to lay off.
Oh.
And Nelf will, like, hand him his water skin instead.
Make a persuasion check. Or intimidation. Which angle you're swinging it here.
He's a better chance at intimidation, but he's not trying to piss him off. Alright, we'll risk it.
What's that? Let's see, what would you roll?
Oh, it's a 10.
10? Okay. I mean, you're definitely got a little bit going on him, so with a 10, he'll kind of take your water skin and take one more glug of wine and then set it down and cork it. Undo the water skin. And takes a few swigs out of it, and brushes his sides of his mouth.
A forester, you say? Why do you want to know anything about our forester?
It's it's just something I had been looking for a while.
Well, I'll give you a piece of advice, girl. Keep looking and then give up.
He'll take another swig of the water.
Nothing to find. It's all gone.
I think you need to elaborate a little bit more.
Why? Can't you just take my word? It's not worth it.
I think you need to elaborate a little bit more.
Novian, shall we just leave?
No, we're not
Whisper
gonna
so we
leave.
can't hear it.
This guy obviously knows something. We're gonna get
Well, I
answers.
think Isabella also is meant to know something.
Isabella is very far.
Isabella, my daughter doesn't know anything. Doesn't know what's good for her, that's for sure. She wasn't more
Well,
than...
she must know something, otherwise my mother wouldn't tell me to find her.
She was 5 when it all happened. Doesn't remember a thing. Barely even knows what the Heartwoods were.
What do you do? So explain.
And you see this just the brows just sort of sitting on top of his eyes, almost just so lazy, and the strength drained from him.
Why do you care? House is gone, all the houses it served for is dead and forgotten. So what if someone told you to find them? Means nothing, it's gone, dead, locked away, burnt away, forsaken. Why care?
Nalfit's gonna put 100 gold pieces on the table.
It was just like shuddering at each of his little words.
There's more if you tell me the truth.
I'm telling you the truth.
Then tell me what you know.
I mean, you were there, right? That's what you were implying? And whatever happened, happened?
Tell me why you care, and I'll tell you what I know. Money means nothing to me, boy. Think I don't have enough gold to buy myself the rest of the alcohol I need to drink myself to death? No.
Nalfin just looks at Twig. This isn't his decision to make.
Because it's I'm
Just really struggling over the words.
I need to know because it's a personal matter.
Personal. You, what, plan to raid the keep, see if you can find the crown of Lady Forrester? Is that what you want, huh? Rob the treasures of people you know nothing about? Is that what you want, girl?
Because Elizabeth was my mother.
And you see him kind of stop for a moment.
You what?
Elizabeth is my mother. At least my real one, I suppose. I just.
Yeah.
Nothing. I feel like it's probably best not to.
She made it out. Huh. She lived. I don't like to relive the moment. It's very painful for me, you understand. I tried.
I'm sorry. I don't know if it's best to leave if you're
Wait. Let him talk.
I try to drink to forget. It's been so long since I've tried to remember. That day, that fateful day. Can't even. It's mid-autumn, I think. The trees started to tinge to orange. A cool breeze on the air.
For the first moment, you can see him start to crack a smile.
I can't. It's too painful. I can't.
And as he sort of looks up to you, you can see Twig, he looks past your head and to the right, and his eyes sort of shoot open.
Naluvia.
And Twig, as you look up past, there's nobody standing there. And he just sort of stays, eyes locked. And just sort of nodding. And eventually you see him kind of like reel for a moment, just sort of leaning forward and taking a heavy breath. And his eyes rise a little bit more as that haze that was resting over his eyes begins to fade away, as some life begins to return to them.
I feel
And you see him kind of breathe and lean back for a moment, placing his hand on his forehead.
I will tell you what I know.
And as he begins to tell the story, the camera kind of pans out of the room. And there is this just fade to white, as we're going to have a little cutscene here. So, with that, as the white begins to fade, there is a woman sitting in a rocking chair, holding a very small baby. The woman is beautiful and poised, very obviously royalty. She wears a deep green velvet dress, embroidered at the bottom hem with roses and vines in black. Sitting atop her head, you can see that she wears a crown of flowers and smiles at the small child she holds in her arms. The child in her hands is currently partially wrapped in swaddling clothes to match the woman, deep velvet greens and blacks. And you can see that the baby is holding on to a small twig and swinging it back and forth, and occasionally chewing on it. The woman laughs and kisses the small child on the forehead. An older man approaches, her smiling and wearing a doublet of a similar velvet green but lacking the black embroidery. He smiles at the small child and the woman and says,
How is she? How is little Grace?
as he reaches his finger down to pinch her cheek, the baby softly taps him with the twig. The two of them laugh, and a silence fills the chamber. Shortly after, the man breaks this silence and says,
My lady Forrester, I'm sure her and my Isabella will get along great. Lifelong friends. Same as your grandfather and me. May the gods rest his soul.
Lady Forrester looks up to him and says, Elias, if I've said it once, I've said it 1,000,000 times. Please, call me Elizabeth. Elias sputters about and tries to say about 5 different words all at the same time. My lady, Forrester. And she gives him a soft smile. And he nods and says,
Of course, my lady, Elizabeth.
And there is a silence that returns to the chamber, as the only noises in this large chamber now are the sounds of a small baby sputtering and laughing to herself. The Lady Helena looks up to speak, but before any words can exit her mouth, there is a bell that begins to toll in the distance. It rings once. They both look to each other. Once is for fire. A second bell. Twice is for the death of a noble. It rings a third time. The Lady Forrester, she pauses for a moment and says, Elias, they're here. And Elias freezes, and he says,
My lady, what do you mean? Who is here?
And the ringing stops. The bells stop tolling. And this singing begins. Discordant whispers fill the chamber, and the Lady Helena, the Lady Elizabeth doesn't move. She simply sits, clutching the child tight. The doors to the chamber burst open, and several entish-like entities begin to enter, all made of wood and mud, glowing the sickly green. Elias draws his sword and attempts to fight them back. He may at one point in his life been a great swordsman, but now he's slow and unable to find his momentum. He cuts down several, but with not sustaining several wounds. He shouts back to Elizabeth to run. Looking back, he briefly sees her begin to sprint further into the keep, but not before that crown of flowers falls off of her head and tumbles onto the ground. And eventually, we come back to reality as he begins to finish telling the story, leaving out none of those details. He says,
I fought them back for as long as I could. Eventually, several of the Rose Guard arrived and helped fend the rest off. But I never saw Nalovir in that fight, but I heard him scream. And I scoured the forest for her. for you, as he kind of looks to you, Twig. And I found nothing. We tried to fight them back for a while. Nothing helped. Those creatures, they just kept coming, and we had to abandon the keep. I traveled for years, trying to find her, trying to find you, and I hurt people, nobles. I just wanted to know what happened. I thought that I maybe found the truth. Found where either one of you may have been. I committed treason trying to discover what happened. I was and still am wanted dead or alive by the crown. Luckily for me, I'd been friends with Sir Lapierre before he joined the Knights of the Dawn, and he gave me sanctuary in Highland Pass, protected by the crown of Tarkir. I'd given up hope that either one of you made it out. If your daughter, then...
And you see the smile sort of come up on his face. So
where is she then?
She's laid in Raven Rock.
Gods be damned.
You can see him kind of begin to sort of rub into his eyes and wipe away the sort of swelling tears.
God.
But I don't know, but when I first found out about all of this, it had said that she passed in childbirth, so I don't make sense of your story.
I don't know. Perhaps she befriended someone, lied on the documents. No, I was there. You were one of the only ever quiet ones. Most babies come out screaming and wailing. Only baby I've ever seen that came out smiling. I've never seen my Lady Forrester so happy, holding you in her arms. You were her greatest treasure. Meant more than any of the gold in the coffers, or the dresses, or the soldiers, more than anything. You were what mattered most to her.
Have you been back to Hazard's Hall after everything went down?
For a short time, yes. All I know is that singing never stopped. It comes from the trees. I didn't even get to the keep.
The singing's a good thing,
I don't think so. It's almost sounds like an incantation almost. Warding magic to keep people away.
Keeping people away could also protect it, right? So it's not necessarily bad, right?
And he kind of just looks at you.
I can tell you one thing I do know. That singing did nothing to save the thousands of soldiers that gave their lives. The tens of thousands who tried to reclaim the fort in the name of Forrester, their lord. That singing never stopped, and it never saved any of them. And it seems as though it didn't save her.
And so do you know what did it? What was attacking the land, I guess? I mean, I tried to find out, but there's just, well, there's more
Rumors.
contradictions, I feel, than there's truth.
The most I know, and what I assume to be true, is that of the crones, the hags. I don't know what she did, or maybe what someone else did, but it's unfair.
So is know of more people other than just you and Isabella that made it out?
The Reddings fell into the ocean, and Bywater was stabbed in the back by Duradine Dupree. Any of the others who served House Harwood perished trying to take back the keep. There is one way to summon those if they still follow the banner of the Forester. But sadly, there's no point. There's a banner that exists within the keep. That banner, if raised near Raven Rock or Dragon's Bay, those that still honor the old oaths, they will ride. But you have to get into the keep first. And after I left the first time, we were never able to get back in. So for all I know, the crown of flowers and the banner are still inside.
I mean, the land was retaken because these hags, right? Because they felt like they were wronged on a deal. So, have you tried to contact them? Make right on whatever they feel cheated on?
Well, The last time I went, I had that idea to try. Those same creatures that attacked me on that fateful day found me again. Voices ringed out that they would only speak to the Lady of House Forrester.
I mean, if she's gone, there has to be another way, right? I mean, there has to be
Grace,
another way to solve the land.
If your mother is truly dead, you are the Lady of House Forrester.
And you can see this kind of
It's Twig.
look on his face. This perplexed look. He kind of looks to himself and brushes off some of the crumbs and tries to brush off the stains and kind of walks out of the chair and says,
forgive me, my lady. I lost myself.
And grabs a sword from the buried underneath several large tomes and takes the sword out of the sheath and sets the sheath on the ground and places the tip of the sword onto the ground and sits on one knee and says,
Under the light of the forest, I pledge myself to you, Lady Forrester. As the Lord of House Harwood, I serve as your loyal steward from now until the end of my days.
Twig is just staring at Nalfian.
head still lowered.
Hey, I'm sorry. I don't know what I'm meant to do.
And he kind of looks up and just says,
I'm sorry. Just say, and I accept your servitude, Lord Elias Harwood.
Wait a second. Twig is 15. She's still learning how to do half the shit life expects of her. I don't think she needs a steward. Twig, what do you want?
his head is still bowed, not saying anything else.
I don't know. I was just wanting, I guess, answers. I was hoping coming here would give a little bit of direction, but I don't know about this.
Nalfian's gonna, nudge the guy on his shoulder. Stand up.
You can't
You're only
interrupt.
confusing her.
You can't interrupt the rites.
I accept your servitude, Elias Howard.
He nods and picks up the sheath off the ground and stands. And you can see in this moment there is a great bit of formality where he stands, sheath out, and then the sword parallel and sheaths it in and then tucks it into his belt and says,
Now, I will say, it is your choice to do what you wish from here on out. As the steward, it is not my duty to keep you protected unless under dire circumstances. It is my job to advise in anything related to House Harwood, to House Forrester, to the lands that are rightfully yours.
and you can see that every sentence he's saying just feels like a word that he was never going to have to say ever again.
It is your choice to do what you wish. But I would like you to know that if it is your wish one day to wear the crown of flowers and reclaim your birthright, it will be my honor to do everything I can to achieve this for you. You are the lady of House Forrester, and my job is to serve. Should you choose to live your life as Twig, that is acceptable as well.
I'm sorry, there's other matters we've been needing to deal with.
Just looking to Nalfion.
I just don't think that
Twig,
I can at
This-
the moment.
this is also important. You don't have to do this right now, but it doesn't mean we don't have to just leave this behind either.
Just like thinking to herself and just after a little moment.
But one of the fortresses was where the cult was potentially meeting, so I don't know if it's then more involved, and it's a good idea to, I don't know, deal with this now.
Could be. You could bring it up with everyone else, and we can go check it out. And while we're there, we might find something that you lost. This is important, Twig. You are important.
Why would my mother want me to find your daughter, right, Isabella, instead of you?
I'm the war criminal. My daughter is merely an unfair casualty in that circumstance. I lost my way through anger and selfishness. I thought that everyone was against me, keeping a secret from me. Isabella tried to convince me that what I was doing was wrong, but I didn't see that I was wrong until it was too late.
And you can't return to Iverion, can you?
Well,
You need the protection of Highland Pass, right?
I can return to Iverion. It's just if I'm discovered, I'll be tried and most likely executed. Unless, of course, I'm pardoned by the king.
And have you sought pardon?
My lady, no, I have not. In entire honesty, I presumed I would never need to go back, and that well, there was no point to try.
So then it would still be worth it, right?
Well, if you
To
happen
try
to,
and seek pardon from the king.
you are able to, if you know the king.
And he kind of laughs and then looks to the look on the two of your faces, probably, and then sort of like the smile fades away and says,
Oh, do you know the?
We're old friends.
Wouldn't
Uh.
say no at all.
Just kind of looking at Nalfian with a little bit of what the fuck kind of face.
I mean, we saw him briefly when we were in Raven Rock. But that's about it. I mean, I guess we're on more friendly terms with the captain of the guard there, but
You can put in a good word through Reinhardt. Maybe you can put in a good word as well. Pass it down the line.
Very well. Should I be able to assist you and return to my home, bring me a great deal of happiness.
so you want to return then? You don't want to just stay here?
If
Kinda
it serves
looking
my
towards like the mess in the rest of the room.
If it serves my lady and my lady wants me to accompany her, it would be my honor as steward to House Forrester to serve her in whatever way she wishes. And if I may speak candidly, my lady,
as he kind of looks to you, waiting for a response.
Of course.
I have been trapped inside for far too long, and I wish to see the forest once again.
But how much of the area is even still forest, though?
The edges still maintain the green and health. Maybe 10, 12 feet of forest. The rest has been turned into that a putrid swamp.
Well, I mean, I guess we've already helped the forest around Highland Pass and the section is in war. So hopefully there's a chance that it will become forest again.
And you see him kind of smile and,
Well, I know you seem unsure of it, but as someone who has thought for the past 15 years that there was no hope at all, hearing that, I feel more confident than ever that this is something that's possible.
That said, if there's... Well, I don't... I guess you would, but... The... House Markle is potentially trying to use the area. And, well, I guess to regroup themselves. And so... I don't know if that's also gonna be posing a problem there. Or if that's even anything you know about. There's nothing from what I could find in readings or anything about it, so maybe if you were there.
If memory serves correctly, House Markle was still prevalent when I was a small child. the larger island within the Isles, correct? Remember correctly. From what I remember, there were some hostilities between House Forrester and House Markle, but by the time I was old enough to understand, the house had fallen into ruin. It was non-existent. And by the time I became steward, it was just a place that nobody talked about. No one went. But, should there be squatters in your keep, my lady, I will see them expunged.
Well, I mean, I wouldn't want you to feel like you need to go back to Iverion before you get that pardon.
Should you wish it of me, I would gladly lay my life on the line, if you wish it.
We can send some letters to Reinhardt and get that in process.
Thank you.
It's probably the better course of action. But is it... I don't know if Isabella would know more than you? Or anything else about things? I don't know if it's still... if I should still see her.
If you are unsure of what course of action you wish to take, I don't know if I would speak with Isabella. Her life's mission ever since I was banished was to gather supporters for House Harwood and House Forrester. Knights in Tarkir looking for glory in battle. Gathering enough soldiers to eventually ride and retake the land. If you are unsure whether what path you wish...
well, right? For the land to be retaken?
Of course I do, my lady. But until now, I didn't think there was any point. If there was no Forrester to wear the crown, then what point is there to take back the land? I don't want to wear it, and by right, neither should she.
I don't know, then
You don't have to make a decision right now, Twig. This is a lot of information, and this is...
If my mother wanted me to talk to her, then I feel like I should. And it's only a couple days from here, right? To get to Traversay?
Traversay, maybe closer to a week and a half. Heading downhill makes it faster, but it, still, even going at a gallop would take about 4 or 5 days.
Looking to now, would we even have the time to go there?
We can always make time. Why don't we take today so you can digest all of this? We'll talk with everyone else, see what they've found out, and we'll start planning our trip down.
Okay.
If this is what you want, we'll make it happen.
I don't know. like you said, it's probably best to touch base with the others. It was nice meeting you.
It was the greatest honor of my life to meet you, my lady.
And he gives a very, very long, formal bow and comes back up.
However, I think that today I'm going to go for a walk. Be good to get some fresh air.
Nalfien's just gonna give him a nod.
Well, I mean, we should be here in the city for, still a little longer. And so if there's anything else you might have, I don't know, forgotten or wanted to mention, you can always find us.
And this is where I forget what our tavern's name was.
The Wise,
The
Lantern.
Lantern. Oh,
Yep.
jeez.
Yeah, there we go.
Wow.
How's that? I was just like flicking through my notes, struggling. Okay.
You can always come to our inn, Wise Lantern.
If I think of anything else, you will be the first to know, my lady.
Right, well, thank you.
No. Truly. Thank you, Twig. You've given me hope. That is something I have not had for such a long, long time.
And you can see his eyes begin to grow wet once again. But this time he kind of stifles the tears and gives you a very grandfatherly smile. Where he is genuinely happy.
Nalfien's gonna take Twig by the hand and just say, "Come on, princess, let's get back." And he's smiling when he says it.
Let's just see ourselves out then.
Yep.
Okay. Alrighty. So, you see yourselves out and make your way back to the Wise Lantern.
Yeah.
Okay. Alrighty. So just because I forgot to share it during the moment, got a little caught up there. But just because Elias Harwood would have gone into painstaking detail about Lady Forrester and what she looked like. Okay, got some art for Twig's mama here. The dress isn't right. The clothing isn't right. It's a little bit more Greco-Roman than what she was actually wearing. But face and hair and eyes is good. Share with all. Oop.
Mom's so cute.
All right. So, there we go. Make your way back to the Wise Lantern. And you see everybody else there, and Nalfien is... You're heading in. You hear a voice inside your head. Can Can we talk, please?
He will hesitate, and then, like, instead of walking in behind Twig, he'll just kind of, like, give her a little nudge to go on, and he'll step outside. He'll go
Yes.
behind the tavern.
Okay, yeah. You sure do. You head behind the tavern, and you can see that shadowy visage appear.
Great timing. I actually needed to talk to you.
Oh, good. I needed to talk to you as well. Why don't you go first?
Well, thank you. You're too kind. So what the fuck is this all about? Future me saying some bullshit? How does this person know what I'm saying to Twig? Is this you fucking around?
Hey, I have no idea. This is what I wanted to talk to you about. Because, you see, the thing is, Nalfian, you and I exist at the same time. I know what you know. Anything that I know from wherever I'm from is replaced with what you know. Whenever you pull me away, I can't remember anything about my existence.
So you know nothing about this at all.
No, I don't know anything.
Insight check.
Make an
Insight check myself. Alright.
Let's see, what was that?
Not
An 11?
bad. It's not bad.
Seems like he's telling the truth. I mean, he is a shadow, so
Okay.
a little hard to tell, but
Alright. Fine. Fine. You don't know anything. Now what do you want?
listen, I just... I got a funny feeling about some things here. And I just want to make sure that we're on the same page before we go any further with this little thing. When we had a talk before we got here, before we landed on this shit-stained side of the nation, back in Raven Rock, I thought that we had at least an understanding back there.
Maybe
And
I
it's-
changed my mind.
Oh, you changed your mind, right? Did you?
Yeah, I think
So
I
was
did.
that before or after she knew what you were and declined to take what you wanted to give her? Because it's very clear that she thinks you're a monster. What you come from, what you stand for.
That's not true.
It's not.
No. And I think I've proven that time and time again now. If she thought that, she would not have allowed me to go with her today.
You've proven that you weren't a monster? So if you go in there and you tell her what you did and how many times you did it, you know what the funny thing about all those times in the Underdark was, Nalfian? You needed me to do those things. You needed me to take control, but it was still you doing them. How many mothers needed to scream for their child?
We're not having this conversation.
Oh, we're not?
All right.
We're not? Yes, we are. We are having this conversation because you need to learn something. If you want to succeed, if you want to live, I can guarantee you one of these days, it's all gonna catch up. Same people you ran away from are gonna find out you're here. And if you want to stand a chance, it's not going to be because of some little girl. She's not going to protect you. What, you think that other one with the temper? Pledged to Asmodeus, the tyrant devil king of the Nine Hells? You think that she's going to protect you? No, she's going to save her own hide.
Don't fucking talk about either of them because you don't know shit. All right?
Oh, what? And the the noble? Oh, what? Brandon Barthold? If it wouldn't have been for all of you, he would have been too scared, sniveling in his little library. He's nothing. The two of them are nothing, and then what? That deep gnome? You and I both know what we did to deep gnomes in the Underdark. You can't ignore it. You can't forget it. You can't pretend like you didn't do it.
I said shut the fuck up.
Oh. That's right, I forgot. You think you're in charge of this little game that we have here, don't you? Oh.
Nalvian is going to take his dagger out, and he's going to put it to his own throat.
Oh, make my fucking day, why don't you? End it. Bitch,
I think
come
there's
on.
One thing that you are forgetting here, that if I'm not standing here, you're not standing here.
I don't want to be here. Remember? My memories aren't my own. I only know what you know. I only exist. I was only pulled into this existence because of you, and now I taste it. I know what reality feels like. Tooth and nail, I'm getting what I want. And the only way I get what I want is if you live. And the only way you get what you want is if I stay here. Because if I go away, if I choose not to come back, all the fancy little tricks that you do, they're gone.
He's like holding it so intently, like a blood or two is like starting to drip down the dagger, and he's trying his best to stay calm, and he just smiles. What do you want from me?
I want you to stop pretending like you're everything that you're not. What? Teacher? Hero? Father? No. You and me both know that you and me, we will never be anything more than monsters. When you accept that, that is when I'll fuck off and do whatever you want. But don't try and pretend like you're some benevolent drow. What, are you Redemne? Are you gonna take a poor, starving boy off the street and give him a job? No, you're gonna rob him blind. How many farmers did you take gold from? Their last bit of copper did you take all because it felt good? Yeah, you wanna be a hero? Do what Eurydice does. Work a job. Do something where you don't steal from people. Oh, and then lying to Twig? Oh yeah, I saw that. We both know that you were gonna keep gambling.
I didn't fucking lie.
Oh yeah. Sure you didn't. Sure. Oh, what? Change your mind? About the dagger? That's fine. So what, are you gonna do it? End it. Come on, do it. Fucking do it. Oh, that's right. I remember now. You can't do anything if I don't help you. That's right. That's right. Oh, maybe I should take control. Pull the trigger for both of us, huh? Now that wouldn't be fun. Still a lot left to do, a lot left to accomplish.
I'm only gonna tell you one more time to fuck off. I'll play your game. Alright?
Good.
But if you come near any of them, especially that little girl, I won't fucking hesitate.
Well, then how about we make a deal? You don't step out of line again, and I won't have to. Cat got your tongue?
Yep. Fine.
See, that wasn't so hard.
No, I was just gonna turn around and walk away.
Worst part is, I'm always there. And you can look behind you, the shadow fades away, but then the voice in your head returns, whether you like it or not. And on that moment, Nalfian, as you re-enter, you can see Eurydice and Twig sitting at a table together, laughing and joking, talking back and forth to one another. And the two of you can see Nalfian re-enter the tavern with this just royally pissed, angry look on his face. And on that note, that is where we're going to go ahead and end our little mini session today. Hey, yo, 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 yo.
That's all we got. Time.
Amazing. Oh my god.
Hey.
Ooh.
Kayla, are you good? I
No,
I yelled at
hate
you a lot. I'm
Where
sorry.
are those divorce papers at?
No!
I filed a voice. I'm just kidding.
No!
I should make that joke. I'm just kidding. I love you. Mwah, mwah, mwah.
Okay. I just want to make sure, because I got a little intense there. I said, I called you bitch a few times, and I didn't mean to.
You didn't call me a bitch. I'm okay.
Okay. All right. Cool. Well, cool. All right. Well, thanks for watching. If you're here, see you. Bye.